Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to DHES TV News. Happy Women's History Month. This is A Week, Thursday, March 4th, 2021. And I am Mr. Thompson with today's announcements. Teachers, please read your staff announcements. Pandas, are you prompt and present? Are you ready for the attendance challenge? Please welcome Miss Jordan as she brings an important announcement. Panda family, it's March. Our theme for the month of March is courage. Join us as we celebrate Women's History Month. Welcome to Mario Barnes as he leads us through the Pledge of Allegiance and the District Heights Panda Pledge. And Get Fit as Mr. Jeffries leads us through the Get Fit Minute. To all of our DHES Panda family born in the month of March, happy birthday! DHES Panda family, it's March. Are you ready for the March Attendance Challenge? Every day we will shout out the classes with the highest attendance percentage in each grade. If you want your class to be shouted out on the morning announcements, make sure you are prompt and present every day. And now for today's shout outs. Pre-K and kindergarten, Miss Long's class, Miss Beasley's class, and Miss Bacani's class. First grade, Mr. Guzman's class. Second grade, Miss Jones's class. Third grade, Miss Bennett and Miss Jordan's class. Fourth grade, Dr. Johnson and Mr. Smith's class. And fifth grade, Mr. Butler's class. Congratulations to the winners. Keep showing up so we can shout you out.
Good morning, District Heights. The attendance team here bringing you the highest attendance of the week. The highest attendance percentage for this week, we have Miss Bird's class, Miss De Guzman's class, Miss Jones' class, Miss Jordan's class, Miss Wright's class, and Miss Clee's class. The superstars of the week for the primary, Miss Jones and Miss De Guzman's class, and for intermediate, Miss Clee's class. And remember that attendance matters.
District Heights Elementary School, your attendance matters. All students who have a 95% or higher attendance score are invited to celebrate with us on Wednesday, March 10th, 2021, from 12:45 p.m. to 1:45 p.m. Please check your Google Classroom on the day of the celebration to see if you've been invited. And now a word from Miss Jordan.
Hello, DHES. Join us for Slime Time, a standards-based experiment on Thursday, March 11th, 2021 at 5 o'clock p.m. This is a STEM-tastic night filled with games, slime, and most importantly, fun. You must RSVP by Friday, March 5th, 2021 at 2 o'clock p.m. to get your materials. Material pickup will be available from 9 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. at District Heights Elementary School on Monday, March 8th, Tuesday, March 9th, and Wednesday, March 10th. Hope to see you there. Look out for the link through Class Dojo to RSVP.
Thank you, Miss Jordan.
Today we are going to talk about being brave and having courage.
Ooh, bravery and courage.
Do you know what it means to be brave?
It means to stand for yourself and never give up. That you would stick up for yourself if something happened. Courage is when you're nervous about something and makes you accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. Standing up to something you're afraid of, like pirates, smoke alarms. The first day of school, moving to a whole other place, I'm not gonna know anybody. I'm also afraid of sinking to the bottom of the sea.
Rashad, talk to me about a time where you were afraid and you had to show courage.
You picked me and my friend for this trip not too long ago, where there was like a sky climber, and I had to climb my way up to the slide, but I got scared because I was so far up from the ground. I had to go back down and take a minute, so it was really scary.
Cass, can you think of an example of a time you were scared and you had to be brave?
Going to school and we had a fire drill. I was scared that there was going to be a real fire.
Oh.
I heard the fire alarm go off. I thought it was a real fire. In my head I was scared, but then I thought, I should be brave.
That's great. I think one of the things to keep in mind is you have to be scared in order to be brave.
A long time ago, I was also afraid of smoke alarms.
Smoke alarms and fire alarms are kind of the same thing.
So what were some of the things that you had to say to yourself?
I can do it.
You said that to yourself?
And then I went up the sky climber, made it to the slide, and came back down. I finally found my courage.
When you were scared of those sounds, those loud sounds, remember what I used to tell you to take all the time? And I still tell you sometimes you need to take a
Deep breath.
That's right. Nice. When you're scared and you take a big, deep breath like that, how does that change how you feel?
It kind of helps me feel better.
Awesome. And you know what, Cassidy? I think that's some really good advice. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna play a little game. I'm gonna throw out some situations here, and you tell me if they are scary and need bravery, or if they're not that big of a deal, okay? Okay, are you ready? Going to the doctor to get a shot.
Eesh.
Oh yeah, we definitely have to be brave.
It makes me feel bloody. It hurts so bad. I think I still got a mark right here from the shot last year. Scary.
Scary for you? Why is that scary?
Shots hurt and there's a needle.
It's true.
I'm fine. I just don't care. I don't care either.
Really? Not even long needles? I'm scared of needles and shots.
It feels a little bit of pain, but I don't cry like I used to.
And on the way there, I remember you were like, can you tell me what it feels like again? Do you remember?
And she pinched me.
Just a little bit, yeah, just like that.
How about swimming in a swimming pool in the deep end?
Fun.
Oh my gosh.
That's easy. You don't need to be brave.
What do you think?
It depends on how deep the water is.
You're like really an inspiration for me because you know mommy is still like overcoming my fear of the pool.
I forgot you don't know how to swim.
I don't, but I'm getting there.
See, I love to swim as deep as possible, like on the very bottom. You know who taught me how to do that? My cousin, because she was a lifeguard, and she was trying to get me to dive, and I was afraid of that. But she taught me that if you go way down and look, the water looks really cool and sparkly at the very bottom.
What about going on an airplane?
That's tricky. Is that scary? No, not scary.
That's pretty easy, especially because I get to watch TV the whole time.
The first time you went on an airplane, that was a little scary.
Yeah, that was a little scary.
Yeah.
You were more excited than afraid.
I wasn't afraid at all.
Yeah,
It
no.
looked like I was afraid because my face was a little pale, and I was just focused.
You were focused on what?
And then this computer.
How about this? Moving to a new state.
That's in the middle. Yeesh, that needs courage and bravery. She was a little scared, but I wasn't. A little? Moving can be very, very tricky, especially when you're leaving your closest friends.
So this is something that we just did, right?
Uh-huh.
Where did we move from?
California
Okay, and where did we move to?
to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
After moving from Washington, D.C. to California.
That's right. So you actually did it twice, right?
When I moved to a different school, I felt nervous.
Do you know why we moved a lot, right?
Yeah. Dad used to be in the Air Force, but he recently retired when we lived here. So no more moves until I'm in college.
We talked a lot about like why we were moving, right? So what was that like for you?
I was gonna leave my best friend, and like, I know sometimes it can be easy for me to make friends, but she was the only one that was actually my BFF. And I've never and am never gonna have a friend probably as good as that one.
Do you think that when you were going to your first day of school, that it was easier for you guys because you went together?
Oh yeah. Something special about being a twin is that you're always with somebody, like you're not always alone.
That's really nice to have, even when you're at school, right?
Yeah.
Those moves always came at surprising times and sometimes weren't where we expected. But you know what? I think that you got really used to moving, because about 2 years after we moved here, you said, when are we gonna move again? Isn't it time to move again?
I totally understand how that feels, because when I was your age, I had a very best friend in the entire world. And when I had to leave her. And it was really, really hard. But you know, we're still friends today. And you still have your friend, right? And you guys still chat and leave each other messages and write long text messages with like 50 emojis.
What's a good part about moving?
Meeting new friends.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. What else?
I like exploring new houses and figuring out new things. Our house is a little bit broken. Not really.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Now that Daddy's retired.
And we're probably not gonna move again, but we don't know, right? But what's really special about our family is that no matter what, we have us, right? We have the 4 of us and
the 5
of us.
Don't
we know
forget the
that
dog. It's just a child. Can't forget just a child.
him. And so then, no matter where we are in the world, as long as we're together, that's home, right?
That was awesome.
Great job, guys.
Way to go.
Guys, I'm glad we're able to have this conversation. It's important to talk about being brave. It's important to talk about having courage.
What's one thing you've learned about finding courage in scary moments?
Going in my room and not just sitting there for a moment and then I'd go back out and have fun.
So if you take a moment and you breathe a little bit, you can overcome it. You can show courage.
Part of my main job as a dad to you is I want to teach you how to be able to take care of yourself, including being brave. That's why I taught you from the beginning the importance of taking those deep breaths and having experiences that you can draw on in the future.
1912, a German meteorologist named Alfred Wegener proposed a theory about how the Earth's landmasses formed. He suggested that the great continents of the Earth had once formed a single landmass called Pangaea, which had broken up and drifted apart over time. He called this process continental drift, and it went against all conventional thinking of the time, making him very unpopular amongst his peers. It's a shame because he was absolutely right. But it would take the work of a young cartographer called Mary Tharp to help turn the tide of opposition, leading to one of the greatest paradigm shifts in the earth sciences, and it all began at the bottom of the ocean. Mary's father worked for the Department of Agriculture, and from a young age she'd join him on his work trips as he travelled around the country collecting samples for soil survey maps. These early experiences were formative in developing Mary's interest in geology, and after gaining a master's degree in the subject, she landed a position at Columbia University in 1947. Here, she worked as an assistant to Bruce Heason, a geology graduate who's collecting thousands of depth measurements across the Atlantic Ocean. During expeditions, Heason and his team used echo sounding to collect depth data, which involved sending out high-frequency sounds or pings and recording the time delay of the returning echo. The data could then be plotted to build a profile of the terrain below. Unfortunately for Tharp, women were prohibited from joining these early expeditions because of a fear that they'd bring bad luck at sea. Instead, she remained behind at the university to process the data, converting endless rows of depth measurements into detailed profiles of the ocean floor. Conventional thinking had once believed that the ocean floors were flat, featureless plains, but Tharp's maps were beginning to tell an entirely different story. Her profiles reveal the existence of a complex geography of crevices and valleys, but perhaps most startling was the emergence of a long V-shaped cleft that ran through each of her profiles. These so-called rift valleys offered support for Wegener's continental drift theory. If two landmasses were moving apart, they'd split the ocean floor in two, tearing a scar in the landscape and forming a valley below. Was this evidence for the controversial theory? Tharp believed so, but Heason was sceptical, dismissing many of her suggestions as girl talk. Nevertheless, Tharp was convinced by her findings and later produced a more detailed physiographic map to further support her case. At the same time, another graduate student, Howard Foster, was plotting the epicenters of earthquakes in the same region of the Atlantic. Tharp noticed that they occurred at the same location as her proposed valley, and as they expanded to other areas, they found something interesting. Where there were mid-ocean ridges, there were also earthquakes. So it seemed as though these two were related. At this point, even the sceptical Heason could no longer deny what they were looking at. A pattern of scars that spanned the Earth's oceans, permanent wounds torn into existence through the process of continental drift. The findings were finally reported in 1957, but opposition from the scientific community was still fierce. Renowned explorer Jacques Cousteau was so sure they were wrong, he chartered an expedition to film the ocean's floor to settle the score once and for all. But the footage he brought back did the opposite. It showed the deep valley, it showed how it split the mid-Atlantic ridge in half, and it showed that Tharp's maps were right all along. It was exactly where she'd plotted it. As the evidence mounted, a paradigm shift in the earth sciences was inevitable. Tharp's steadfast determination had paved the way for Wegener's continental drift theory to gain traction, and as the tide of opposition waned, it gave birth to our modern understanding of plate tectonics, and secured Tharp's position as one of the most outstanding cartographers of the 20th century.
And now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand, place your right hand over your heart, and follow along as Namario Barnes leads us through the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing, raise your right hand, and follow along as Namario leads us through the District Heights Panda Pledge.
To dear District Heights, I pledge to do my best. I will be prepared. I will be respectful. I will show integrity. I will be determined to excel. Today at District Heights, I will be great.
And now it's time for the Get Fit Minute with Mr. Jeffries. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in to DHES TV News. It's a good day to have a good day. So have a good day. Bye-bye now.